Hello, I'm Hope Logan. I'm an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. Hope Logan stood at a crossroads she never expected to face, caught between the familiar world she had always known and a future that suddenly seemed both exciting and terrifying. On the surface, the decision should have been simple, but emotions have a way of turning even the clearest path into a maze. Recent events on The Bold and the Beautiful have shown Hope spiraling into a crisis of confidence after receiving an unexpected olive branch from Forrester. For many viewers, the moment raised an immediate question. Was Hope about to do exactly what Forrester once did and crawl back to Forrester Creations after striking out on her own? Social media quickly filled with speculation, with fans wondering if Hope would abandon Logan and return to the company she had spent so many years fighting to remain a part of. But despite all the uncertainty swirling around her, there are powerful reasons why Hope should stay exactly where she is, leave Forrester Creations behind, and never look back. The turmoil began when Forrester unexpectedly informed Hope that her leave of absence was officially over. In a move that seemed to come out of nowhere, Steffi revealed that she had approved the relaunch of Hope for the Future, now that Forrester's major couture launch was finally moving forward in the week ahead. It should have been welcome news. For years, Hope had poured her heart and soul into that line, fighting endlessly to keep it alive despite setbacks, criticism, and constant uncertainty. Yet, instead of relief, the announcement triggered panic. Hope froze, the words caught in her throat. For one brief moment, it seemed as though she might confess everything right there, that she had already committed herself to a new future at Logan and was no longer planning to return. Before Hope could reveal the truth, however, fate intervened. Brooke Logan suddenly burst into the room, bringing with her an explosion of excitement and enthusiasm that instantly took control of the conversation. Steffi shared the news, and Brooke reacted exactly as Hope feared she would, celebrating the revival of Hope for the Future as though all of Hope's problems had suddenly disappeared. But while Brooke's joy filled the room, Hope felt suffocated by it. The weight of her secret became unbearable. Unable to stand there another second, she fled. She escaped the conversation entirely and rushed back to Logan, where Katie Logan, Bill Spencer, Deacon Sharp, and Liam Spencer had all been anxiously waiting for her return. Back at Logan, Hope's emotions finally began spilling over. Fear, guilt, uncertainty, and anxiety all crashed together at once as she started spiraling under the pressure. Thankfully, Katie was there to steady her. She listened, she reassured her, she reminded Hope that she wasn't trapped. Yet beneath all the confusion, one painful truth became clear. Hope wasn't worried about betraying Steffi. She wasn't worried about disappointing Ridge Forrester. The person she feared hurting most was her mother. Brooke's opinion still carried enormous weight in her heart, and the thought of seeing disappointment in Brooke's eyes was almost too much to bear. That guilt threatened to pull Hope backward, even when every sign pointed toward moving forward. The tension is only set to increase as Brooke inevitably confronts the situation head-on. When Brooke marches into Logan and creates a scene with Katie, emotions will flare once again, reopening all the wounds Hope has been trying to process. The confrontation is almost certain to shake her confidence and reignite her doubts. Yet, once the dust finally settles, there remains a strong sense that Hope's future belongs with Logan, not Forrester Creations. Staying loyal to Katie, Bill, Liam, and the people who have invested in her future simply makes far more sense than returning to a place where she has spent years fighting for respect. More importantly, Logan represents something Hope has rarely experienced in her professional life: genuine support. One of the biggest reasons Hope should walk away from Forrester Creations forever is painfully simple. Steffi Forrester has never truly seen Hope as an equal. Time and time again, Steffi has treated Hope as though she was somehow less deserving, less capable, and less important. Their history is filled with moments where Steffi undermined her, criticized her, and stripped away opportunities that Hope worked tirelessly to build. There were occasions when Steffi's actions felt less like business decisions and more like personal punishments. Hope watched her fashion line disappear. She endured constant uncertainty. She was forced to navigate a workplace where every success seemed temporary because Steffi could take it away at any moment. Even worse, Steffi pushed Hope into firing her own brother Deacon, while simultaneously assigning her collaborators like Thomas Forrester and Zende Forrester, who often failed to bring Hope's creative vision to life in the way she desired. What makes the situation even stranger now is Steffi's sudden change in behavior. For months, Steffi kept Hope at arm's length. Whenever Hope asked about the future of her line, Steffi refused to provide answers or timelines. Hope was left hanging, uncertain whether her professional future even existed anymore. Then, seemingly overnight, Steffi transformed. Suddenly, she was welcoming Hope back with open arms. Suddenly, she was hugging her, not once, but twice in the same conversation. The shift felt abrupt and unnatural, especially considering the years of tension that preceded it. To many observers, it doesn't feel genuine. It feels calculated. Because history has shown repeatedly that Steffi's feelings toward Hope run much deeper than simple workplace disagreements. The anti-Logan sentiment has always been a defining part of Steffi's worldview. Over the years, she has openly criticized the Logan family, questioned their intentions, and repeated accusations about betrayal, theft, and manipulation. She has spoken negatively about Katie directly in front of Hope. She has revisited old family conflicts whenever tensions arose. Again and again, the message remained the same. Steffi viewed the Logans as outsiders. Given that history, why should Hope willingly place herself back into an environment where she will constantly be judged through that lens? Why should she subject herself to more criticism, more suspicion, and more emotional exhaustion? The answer seems obvious. She shouldn't. Then there is Ridge Forrester, whose behavior during the Carter-Walton coup remains one of the most painful chapters in Hope's recent history. There is no question that Hope and Carter were wrong in their attempt to take control of the company. Their actions crossed serious lines. Yet Ridge's response went far beyond anger or disappointment. His words were cruel. He attacked Hope personally, calling her degrading names and insisting that nobody liked her. He humiliated her publicly and forced her to endure an emotional walk of shame after firing her. What makes the situation especially heartbreaking is that Ridge spent years acting as a father figure in Hope's life. He helped raise her. He claimed to love her as family. Yet in that moment, none of that seemed to matter. The venom in his words revealed a side of Ridge that Hope may never fully forget. Even more troubling is the absence of any meaningful apology. Ridge may have privately acknowledged to Brooke that he regretted some of what he said, but there has never been a genuine effort to make things right with Hope herself. The damage remains. The hurt remains. And when someone who once claimed to be family speaks to you that way, the scars do not simply disappear because circumstances change. Returning to Forrester would mean stepping back into the shadow of those memories every single day. Another major reason Hope belongs at Logan is Deacon Sharp. For years, Deacon has fought to rebuild his relationship with his daughter and prove that he deserves a place in her life. Working together at Logan represents more than just a business opportunity. It is a dream they are sharing, side by side. If Hope abandoned Logan now and returned to Forrester Creations, she would risk tearing that dream apart. While Katie might choose to keep Deacon involved, there is no guarantee that the same opportunities would remain. More importantly, Hope knows what it felt like when Steffi forced her to fire Deacon before. She knows how much pain that caused. Having already hurt her brother once, it is difficult to imagine Hope willingly putting him through that experience again. The truth is that Hope doesn't even seem excited about the possibility of returning to Forrester. Her hesitation isn't driven by passion for the company. It isn't driven by belief in Steffi's leadership. It isn't driven by loyalty to Ridge. Instead, it appears rooted in old habits and a desire to avoid upsetting Brooke. That is hardly the foundation upon which life-changing decisions should be made. Deacon and Hope have already begun building something meaningful together. They enjoy working side by side. They inspire one another. They share a vision for the future. Walking away from that simply to maintain family peace would be sacrificing genuine happiness for temporary approval. Brooke, meanwhile, faces her own difficult reality. As much as she may want Hope back at Forrester Creations, she knows the truth about what that environment has done to her daughter. She has witnessed Steffi's hostility firsthand. She understands Ridge's complicated relationship with Hope. She knows the painful history involving Thomas Forrester. Deep down, Brooke should want Hope to be where she feels respected, fulfilled, and valued. A loving parent ultimately wants their child to follow their own path, not remain trapped in a place that constantly diminishes them. If Brooke truly puts Hope's happiness first, she should encourage her daughter to embrace this new opportunity, rather than retreat from it. The emotional baggage attached to Forrester Creations is impossible to ignore. Every hallway, every office, every conference room carries memories. Many of those memories are painful. Hope and Steffi's rivalry over Liam Spencer has spilled across both their personal and professional lives for years, turning even ordinary workdays into emotional battlefields. The tension never fully disappeared. It simply changed form. Then there were the endless complications involving Thomas Forrester, whose obsession with Hope created some of the darkest and most disturbing moments in her life. The memory of Thomas's mannequin obsession still lingers like a ghost from a nightmare. Combined with years of workplace conflict and family drama, Forrester Creations has become a place burdened by emotional scars. At Logan, however, the atmosphere feels completely different. It represents a fresh beginning. It offers Hope something she has desperately needed for years: freedom from judgment. No one there treats her like an outsider. No one constantly questions her worth. No one makes her feel like she must earn the right to exist in the room. Instead, she is welcomed. She is supported. She is appreciated. The difference is profound, and it creates an environment where creativity can flourish rather than constantly defend itself. Perhaps most importantly, Logan offers Hope something she has never truly possessed at Forrester Creations: creative autonomy. At Forrester, every success came with conditions. Every victory required a battle. Every season brought the possibility that Steffi could once again decide Hope for the future was expendable. Hope was constantly forced to fight for survival. At Logan, the situation is entirely different. Katie and Bill have invested heavily in her vision because they believe in her talent. They trust her instincts. They want her to succeed. Instead of controlling her, they are empowering her. That distinction changes everything. Katie understands this better than anyone because she experienced similar frustrations herself. At Forrester, she often found herself marginalized despite her contributions. Brooke and Ridge brought in outside public relations professionals and gradually allowed them to absorb responsibilities that had once belonged to Katie. Decisions were made without consulting her. Changes were implemented without respecting her experience. Then, when Katie expressed concerns, she was told it was supposedly for her own benefit. That experience helped shape Logan into a place where people are valued rather than overlooked. If Hope ultimately caves under Brooke's pressure and returns to Forrester Creations, the consequences could be devastating. She would not only carry the reputation of the woman involved in the coup, she would also become known as someone who secretly accepted another opportunity while pretending to remain on a leave of absence. The situation would create an entirely new layer of mistrust and criticism. To be fair, Hope absolutely mishandled the transition. She should have walked into Steffi's office, looked her in the eye, and simply resigned. She should have announced her decision with honesty and confidence. Leaving through a dramatic Logan runway debut was undeniably messy. Even supporters of Hope can acknowledge that. Yet despite the mistakes she made along the way, the larger truth remains unchanged. Hope Logan's future no longer belongs at Forrester Creations. That chapter of her life has been defined by conflict, insecurity, disappointment, and emotional wounds that refuse to heal. Logan offers something far more valuable than familiarity. It offers possibility. It offers independence. It offers a chance for Hope to finally build something that belongs to her, rather than constantly fighting to protect it from others. The road ahead may be uncertain, and difficult choices still await her, but sometimes growth requires leaving the past behind. For Hope Logan, the future appears to be waiting at Logan, and if she chooses to embrace it fully, she may finally discover a version of success, happiness, and fulfillment that Forrester Creations could never truly give her.